You know that dream? The one where you're in a place you've never actually been, but it feels familiar? Maybe it's a huge, sprawling mall that goes on forever, or a giant, empty movie theater. Well, if you've had that dream, you are definitely not the only one. And the reason why we're all having it is, well, it's kind of hiding in plain sight.
So this whole thing basically blew up because of one simple question on TikTok. A user realized that her weird, recurring dreams about these massive, strange places, well, they weren't just hers. She was tapping into this huge, collective experience. And of course, the internet immediately gave it a name, MallWorld.
All right, so let's dive in. What exactly is MallWorld? What is this shared dreamscape we all seem to be visiting?
At its heart, MallWorld is this collective dream phenomenon. You have people from all corners of the globe reporting that they go back, night after night, to these bizarrely huge, labyrinth-like places. And the craziest part is they feel both deeply personal and somehow totally universal at the same time.
And here's the thing, it's not just malls, the actual locations can be different, but the vibe, the feeling, it's always the same. People dream about these enormous theaters, or cruise ships that are basically floating cities, or these sprawling, illogical theme parks. The one thing they all have in common? The massive scale and the completely confusing layout.
So to really get what's going on here, we kind of have to dissect the dream itself. What are the key features that pop up again and again?
First off, almost everyone talks about this constant feeling of being lost. The architecture just doesn't make sense, right? You've got hallways that lead nowhere, escalators going the wrong way. It feels impossible to find an exit. It's this feeling of just wandering and never actually getting anywhere.
And then there's the emptiness. It's so creepy, right? These are spaces that are built for thousands of people, but in the dream, they're often totally vacant, sterile, and silent. And that creates this deeply unsettling, almost liminal feeling, like you've stumbled into a place you're not supposed to be.
And that really brings us to the central mystery we're trying to unpack here. Why do these artificial worlds feel so real to so many of us? Where is this shared blueprint even coming from? Well, it turns out the answer isn't buried in our subconscious. It's all around us, in the real world.
Yeah, to understand the dream, we have to look at the thing it's based on. We have to talk about the design of the modern shopping mall.
Now this is where it all starts to click. Look at the direct parallels here. Those strange feelings we get in our dream malls, that they're fake, that they're confusing, that we don't quite belong, those aren't just random dream thoughts. They are direct reflections of the core design principles of actual real-life malls. And here is the absolute key, and this comes from an MIT research paper, of all places. We tend to think of malls as these modern town squares, public spaces, but they're not. They are intensely controlled, private environments that are engineered for one single purpose: to make you shop. Every little detail is designed to lull you and, yeah, to manipulate.
To get a handle on this level of control, you gotta see this. It's called the panopticon. It was originally a design for a prison, where a single guard in the center can see every single inmate, but the inmates can't tell if they're being watched at any given moment. This creates a feeling of constant surveillance, so people start policing themselves. Malls, with all their security cameras and guards, are basically a modern commercial version of this. The control is literally built into the architecture.
So how do they actually do it? Let's break down the specific techniques they use to control our experience. The rules of the game. It really boils down to three main tools that all work together perfectly. First, you create an illusion of perfection. Second, you exclude anything or anyone that might break that illusion. And third, you control everyone's behavior to push them towards spending money. This right here perfectly illustrates that first tool, illusion. The mall is a stage set. What you see, the on-stage part, has polished floors, perfect lighting, and soothing music. But right behind a door marked authorized personnel only is the backstage. And it's shockingly plain. We're talking cheap walls, bare concrete floors, all the raw wiring. The whole dreamlike magic of the mall just vanishes the second you peek behind that curtain. Okay, next up is exclusion. To keep that illusion going, certain people have to be removed. And this is where it gets a little dark. Mall security actually uses internal codes, like 10-2 for suspicious people, or IK, which stands for individuals known, for people who've caused trouble before. The goal is to quietly remove anyone who doesn't fit the picture of the perfect shopper, which makes other people feel safe without even realizing that this active filtering is going on around them. And finally, we have control. What's with the number 6? Get this. A mall like Boston's Copley Place is 3.7 million square feet. That's massive. And in that entire space, there are only 6 public benches. 6. Why? Because if you're sitting, you're not shopping. The design itself subtly discourages you from just hanging out. It pushes you to keep moving, to go into another store, or to go to a food court where you have to pay to sit down.
So this brings us back around to the beginning. How does our brain process all of this manufactured reality? What happens when our subconscious tries to make sense of these environments when we're asleep?
So here's the bottom line. MallWorld isn't some supernatural glitch in the matrix. It's our subconscious minds simply recreating and trying to process these incredibly artificial spaces we spend time in. The maze-like confusion, that creepy emptiness, the feeling of being watched, it all comes from a waking reality that was deliberately designed to be an illusion from the start.
And that really leaves us with one final big question. In a world where more and more of our so-called public spaces are being designed with these same principles of illusion and control, just like a shopping mall, are these shared, unsettling dreams really a bug? Or are they a feature? Just a sign that our dreaming minds are picking up on something our conscious selves have learned to completely ignore?